welcome to the Thrive with Live show, guys. How are you? How are you? How are you? We got a lovely, lovely show today. I'm really excited to be joined by Tim Sohn, who has built a live stream show that is just so inspiring. He has had a couple of events for it now as well. They've built such a lovely community and it's made such an impact on people's lives. It really has helped people to get through extreme difficult things. And so he teaches it too, and I'm really, really excited to bring him on. So let's just have a little chat with the wonderful Tim Sohn now. Hello, Tim. How are you?
Hello, Katie. I'm still dancing over here. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, pleasure. Keep on dancing. Keep on dancing. So I am in the UK, and Tim, tell us where you are too.
I am in Pennsylvania, in the land of the bears, the turkeys, and the rubber chickens.
The land of the rubber chicken. I need to get one now for my show. Yeah, I need to,
Yes.
because if any of you know, I've got real chickens. They're not made of rubber.
Yes. You have the real ones. That's
But
even better.
yeah,
You
they
should bring
need.
them on your show.
Yeah, well, that
Well, you do
might
go
be
live sometimes with them,
slightly
right?
chaotic. Yes, they do. But yeah, I do need to represent them, I think, on my show. So I think I'm going to have chicken paraphernalia behind me somewhere. Um, good thought. Tar is with us. Good morning. It's so lovely to see you. Let me bring your comment on the screen, and happy smiley sunshine. I hope it's sunny where you are. Tim was just saying, what temperature did you say, Tim, it was with you?
I think it was in the 20s this morning when I left and brought our daughter to the bus stop. Yeah.
Oh, that
Pretty
is
chilly. Brr.
freezing. And Tim had just commented on my thick jumper that I'm wearing. Well, it's 8 degrees Celsius here, which I think is 48 Fahrenheit or something like that. So it's not absolutely freezing, but it's not boiling hot. So I hope it's nice where you are. We could talk about the weather all day, but we're not going to. We're going to talk about a show that creates an impact to be able to help you. So do comment if you're on the live or on the replay. It would be so wonderful to catch up with you, and let us know if you've got a live stream show. First of all, when I typed this in, I typed a live stream show, which actually I think is pretty cool thought, a live stream, because these days we need to share our lives with each other rather than putting on a face, an image, something that's not quite real. And Tim, as well as me, is all about being real. He's come on a long journey over that, actually, which he could talk about. Great. So I'm just going to bring the podcast listeners and viewers in with this little intro. And after about 30 seconds or so, we will be back with you to start the actual podcast. So don't go anywhere, guys.
This is the Thrive with Live show, the podcast where you can learn to go live with poise, professionalism, and peace of mind. Live video is the best free tool to win clients and grow your income and authority. So, if you want to ditch the overwhelm and confusion to skyrocket your online success through the dynamism of live video, then you are in the right place. This podcast covers all aspects, from your mindset, voice, style, and personal branding to all the technology and tools you need to get started and grow with live video. And now, here is your host, Katie Simpson.
And let us talk about today how to create a live stream show that makes an impact. So I'm very excited today to be joined by Tim Sohn, who has created a thriving live show and a community. He is a resilient 17-year chronic leukemia warrior, and he has an unwavering commitment to supporting cancer patients, survivors and supporters worldwide. And he's the host of the weekly live stream show Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer. He creates a space where individuals can share their stories, connect with others and discover resources for healing, hope and resilience. His cancer advocacy has been recognised by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and was honoured with the Mission Award in 2022. He launched the first ever Showing Up event in Pennsylvania in November 2022 and has just had the second one. And he's also the author of the book Perspectives on Cancer, where he shares his cancer stories and the stories of 10 other cancer patients, survivors and supporters. So let me bring on Tim. Welcome, Tim, to the Thrive with Live show.
Thank you, Katie.
Oh, we're going to get singing together. This is going to be fun. So yeah, Tim has a rubber chicken with him. So he tends to, when we, say something funny or whatever, does his sound effects. I've got my sound effects. So we're going to have singing and sound effects from various chickens and whatever in today's show.
From animals and humans.
Yeah. Oh, as we learn to create a live streaming show that really makes an impact. So Tim, it's easy to say, isn't it? Something makes an impact, or words like that. But it really, really does what your show does, isn't it? And I had the honor recently of helping Tim to make it into a podcast, and it was so emotional and wonderful hearing from all these warriors and survivors, people who have lost family members, who have been through trauma and come out the other side and survived and thrived and helping others. It's just so heartwarming, Tim. So
thank you.
My pleasure. So can you tell us how it all started?
In terms of showing up perspectives on cancer?
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you for asking. In 2021, I started sharing my cancer story publicly for the first time after having chronic myeloid leukemia for almost 15 years. And that happened because I was inspired by a few things and people. The Radiating Real movement that Nancy Barrows created, where she encourages us to take off our masks and share more personal aspects of our lives, not necessarily private. So I had started creating content around my family and my love for iced coffee. Cheers. And I was also struggling with chronic migraines, which I still get. And I was sharing all these things on social media, and I was embraced with so much support, especially on LinkedIn, after I started sharing these more personal aspects of my life. I was also inspired by Steve Sullivan, who unfortunately passed away this year. He was a more than 35-year survivor of acute leukemia, and he had shared a video on National Cancer Survivor Day about his story. And then Jenny Gold invited me on her show called Podcast Not Podcast. And I was like, what am I going to talk about? And her show is all about autoimmune conditions and things like that. And I'm like, maybe all these things are happening in a short time frame. And I'm not usually someone who really believes in the universe is telling you something, but I thought maybe the universe is telling me something. So the journey really started with me sharing my cancer story publicly, and then being invited to share it many other times on virtual events and other live stream shows and podcasts and things like that, and even in writing in blogs. And then in November of 2021, which is almost exactly 2 years ago, um, I had created the show Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer with my co-host at the time, Kara Ulker, who had a cancer supporter perspective. And really, I created the show as a safe space where other people could share their cancer stories, because I felt so much love and support after I shared my story. And I really had not connected with other cancer survivors in my journey, because my journey is very unique in that I really have never physically been affected by cancer. Mentally, sure, especially my cancer came back this last year. Um, so anyway, so the show was created in November 2021. This is the 2-year anniversary of the show this month. And we could talk about other things also, but that's kind of the start. And sorry for going on so long. Feel free to interrupt me whenever you want, of course, because it's your show.
I'll just say, oh, shut up. No, it's so, I think it's so interesting for people to know that you've had this massive effect, because and you're actually trying to encourage me to talk about my health journey a bit as well, and I'm not in that space yet to be able to do it. I'm getting there, but you are encouraging me, and I think from your story and you biting the bullet and, you know, going out there and sharing something that's so hard for you and so vulnerable for you, you have really, it has opened up that way for that other people to be able, and you know, that's working in me too, other people to be able to have the space to and the courage to show up, because you've shown that courage yourself.
I appreciate that. And you know what I would say is everybody needs to share their story when they're ready to, and the parts that they're comfortable and wanting to share. You know, there may be reasons you might not want to share your story because of work reasons. You might be worried if you post on social media that if you know, I share I'm a cancer patient or I'm a cancer survivor, maybe if you're looking for a new job, um, maybe somebody, you know, a potential employer would be like, you know, somebody who has cancer, who had cancer, what physical effects do they have? What complications do they have? What mental issues do they have? But you could also look at it, somebody has cancer is or has like is fighting for their life, right? So they're going to bring that with them also. Of course, everybody has their own stories, and they're going to have easier parts of their journey and harder parts of their journey depending where they are. Yeah, I see we have a question too.
Yeah, so that's Andrea Sanchez, isn't it? Radiating Real?
No, Radiating Real was created by Nancy Barrows.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Nancy Barrows. And yeah, so that there's you contacted her through LinkedIn, or she's a lot on LinkedIn as well, is she, over that? Or?
Nancy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nancy is very active on LinkedIn. I used to produce a show for Brian Schulman that she co-hosts with. She co-hosts with him. Shout Out Saturday and What's Good Wednesday. But I originally met Nancy through Brian Schulman's shows. Yeah, she's incredible. So.
Yeah, he's got an amazing show as well, hasn't he? And I think during lockdown, was that when Shout Out Saturday started? Or it really took off anyway?
I think it started before. But when I joined as producer, it was February of 2020. So it was literally a month before the world shut down.
Right. And you know, that time, I think Pat Flynn had a live show, completely different, totally different, a solo live show, and he went live every single day during lockdown. And Brian's really fun show and very community orientated and everything. I think those things were a real lifesaver for people during that time. And your show
Yeah.
really is during this time when everyone sort of has gone back into the workplace or things have altered. And I don't know about you, Tim, but there seems to be so much stress around. I think since that time, there was a lot of stress around then as well. But we were sort of forced, most of us, to sort of stop working or, rest or whatever.
Yeah.
And people are, things have got back into gear, but there's just, I feel the sort of tension in the air and the stress of people in the business world and in life in general. So I was going to ask you why a live streaming show. I'm sort of saying one of the things at the moment that it just really creates a community space where people can be real with each other and can be supported by each other and learn from each other as well. Anything to add with that?
Yeah, I think the beauty of having a live stream show, especially around something like cancer, like most people would probably be like, cancer, you see so many recorded videos online from different, maybe it's a pharmaceutical company or whatever that's cancer related, and it's this nice, shiny, polished video, right? But live streaming really lets you show the human emotion, you know, and oftentimes we have all the emotions, and the show is an hour long. So we'll have, there'll be tears sometimes, there'll be laughing, there'll be smiles, there'll be, all the emotions. And I think what I love about live streaming for this kind of show is that it shows the humanness and the reality of cancer. I could have done a recorded show and had it all nice and shiny and polished, but also the beauty of live streaming is that interactivity, and people who show up for the show, um you'll see in the comments, people are saying hi to each other. They connect with each other even beyond the show as friends or collaborating in some way. So I really think when it comes to live streaming also that I really think of a live streaming show as a conversation, not as a broadcast. I hate the word broadcast when it comes to live streaming. At least the kind of live stream shows I like to host or produce is an interactive conversation with you and the guest, if there's a guest, but then also with the audience. So inviting the audience to ask questions. And at the beginning of the show, asking some kind of starter question, whether it's like, are you team tea or team coffee? Or where are you joining in from around the world? Something to spur people to respond to you.
Yep. Hang on. This is a chicken moment and applause. Where's that chicken?
Oh. There you go.
Oh, that was some major mic drop moments. Brilliant, Tim. So that I'll be making some reels out of what you just said. That it's a conversation, an interactive conversation, not a broadcast. Invite them to ask some questions at the beginning to get them to chat to you and to each other, and to bring the humanness and the reality, and not necessarily the shiny polished finish with it, which is one of the things that's wonderful about live streaming. And just an aside, if you're watching the video on the replay or the live, I was just saying to Tim, oh, my background looks horrible. I can't get my new camera to work, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's going to look awful, but we're going to have a great conversation anyway. We both look fine, to be honest, but
yeah.
We are such perfectionists and can get ourselves in such a rut. We want to look like this because what if somebody says that, or what if they think that, and we just need to, I think, I'm talking to myself too, just be like you said to me before we went live, when I was saying that I'm worried about I look terrible, blah blah blah. You said we're going to have a great conversation. That's what matters, and that is what matters. I mean, it is good to try and, you know, bring people in by making it look as nice as you can, but just that is not the be all and end all, is it? It's the conversation. It's the
Yeah, absolutely.
it's the
Absolutely, it's the conversation.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was just going to say it's the sort of being together. It's that interaction. I was trying to think of the words. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. You know, I am kind of particular about, you know, certain things in terms of like the design and, you know, things like that. But when it all comes down to it, what people are going to remember is your conversation. They're going to remember, you know, what they learned from your show. They're going to remember your personality. Are they going to remember my yellow wall? I don't know. Maybe.
I like the
Probably
yellow
not.
wall. I've got sort of bright pink, and Tim's got bright yellow behind me. But he's also got his hat that's showing up perspectives on cancer with the heart on it, which is absolutely lovely. I just
Thank
thought
you.
they'll remember how you made them feel. And I think that is mega, isn't it? They'll remember the stories that they heard. Those things really make a difference to our lives, don't they? So, Tim, any tips for
Yeah.
beginners? Because you've got a great, it's not a challenge, is it? It's an event,
Yeah,
a
it's a
sort of
webinar, a
masterclass
live
webinar.
webinar.
Yeah, coming up where you're going to give us tons of tips. So don't give it all away, but well, you can't do it in a short space of time anyway. But so we'll put the link in for you. Actually, Tim's given it to me, so I can put it in the comments. So do go and check that out. But Tim, any tiny bits of advice that we can fit in a short space of time for beginners who are thinking about setting up a live stream show, and how they can get started without sort of overwhelm and thinking they've got to spend a ton of money and be some technological wizard?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think what you were saying before, Katie, about, you know, it's about how you make people feel. So really think about what is the vibe of your show. You know, is it a hopeful show? Like I really consider the Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer show to be a hopeful show, to let other people know they're not alone and to encourage them to share their stories when they're ready. And what are some ways that you can, you know, show that vibe? One way is through music. One way is, you know, having an intro video, whether it's a countdown video or when I used to co-host the Tim and Jim show, we had a video that had lots of video clips from previous shows, and we got lots of great feedback from our guests that they really loved that video because it really brought the energy with the music, and then it also brought um, familiarity because they saw faces of other people they knew from the social media and marketing industry on that show. So really thinking about what is the vibe you want for the show and how can you bring that, whether it's through music, video, um, and if you're going to have guests on your show, you know, you want to make sure those people are going to bring the right vibe, the right stories. So, you know, do a little bit of research about your guests. And on our show, I like to have pre-interviews with our guests. So usually about half an hour, maybe sometimes an hour, but it really gives you a chance to bond with your guest ahead of time before you go live. Um, so those are a few tips.
Fantastic, Tim. Yeah, and anyone can do that if they just be themselves and don't get too caught up in worrying about technology. I think we tend to sort of focus our angst and thoughts and everything on technology, don't we, rather than all the things that you've said, which are more important than that. So intro video, think about the vibe and how you can bring that, so either with music or video. And one thing that Tim does that's really, really good about bringing a vibe, you've seen the rubber chicken already. He has a screaming goat as well, and he loves his coffee, which you've just seen, his Dunkin' Donuts.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, so, and people know, when you get to know Tim, you don't have to get to know him that much without at least hearing one of those things. We know him for those things, and we love him for those things. So it's just a bit of fun. You don't have to just completely focus on whatever you're teaching, do you? You can add those things in, and it really helps. And I think often you'll say, what are you drinking? Are you team tea or whatever? And that sort of thing just makes people comment. We just can't help it, can we?
Totally. Those questions, for some reason, are you team or team coffee, or something food related, right? Because we could all relate to drinking something or eating something. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. It just sounds so basic, doesn't it? But it's absolutely true. So somebody that we both know, I think, Molly Mahoney from it's hard to say this, the Prepared Performer. She teaches video amongst her sort of marketing and stuff that she teaches. And she talks about just write a post. She's been saying this for years. Just write a post. She goes on these big events and tells people to do this. Brussels sprouts, yes or no? And she said, if you've got no engagement on your social media, you just write that and you'll get loads of engagement. So it's so funny because I know when people watch her trainings, because I see these random posts coming up about Brussels sprouts, and I adore Brussels sprouts myself. So yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I was thinking of somebody else who does that as well, and it's escaped me at the minute. But yeah, it can seem so sort of basic, but it I mean, we all need a bit of basic, don't we?
Totally. And the other thing is that, like, no matter what the topic of your show is, we're all humans first. So like those kind of things, or maybe something about, like, I don't know, well, what's your favorite band, what's your favorite kind of music, and even if your show is going to be focused around cancer, it's okay to provide some questions to get to know your audience better beyond cancer, because we are all humans first.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I love this. Yeah, and you can tell, guys, that Tim, sorry if you can hear this random bleeping noise. You can tell that Tim's webinar is not going to be some dry webinar.
Heck no.
It's infused all throughout with fun and really heartfelt and helpful and kind and supportive. There is a community, a live streaming community that is just like a family. Whatever streaming platform you use, so you like StreamYard, don't you? Tara's asking, do you prefer StreamYard or Ecamm?
Oh yeah, so I prefer StreamYard because I feel like it's very stable. I've used it a long time. Well, however, almost as long as it's been out, I've been using it. I have used Ecamm also, and both have their advantages and other way. I feel like it's easier to plan a show, or to launch to do a show on StreamYard. But Ecamm has more bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's got a lot of bells and whistles, which can really overwhelm people. So StreamYard, if you've got something to give and you want to get it out there and add some of your branding and a bit of fun to it, and just, don't worry about any extra stuff, then StreamYard really is the way to go. Or another one that I really like actually is Restream. I haven't used it
Oh
for
yeah,
a
I've
little
used that
while.
too.
Yeah, it's a browser-based platform, so which means it's easy to use, and you can have fun overlays and little video clips, and you can add like a Christmas theme to it and all that sort of thing, which helps,
Yeah.
with engagement and the humanizing of things. Um, yeah, so there's lots of different
Yeah.
platforms out there. I I adore Ecamm. It's just what I've always used really, because I'm a Apple. I'm not an Apple freak, but a second-hand Apple freak. 'Cause they're so blooming expensive. Um, yeah, we get sort of second or third or fourth hand Apple stuff and use that, and it just
Yeah.
I've just found them very reliable, so that's why. Yeah, but it doesn't. I mean, some people are more high tech and love that sort of thing. Some people just want to get
Yeah.
the stuff out there, which is what StreamYard is really good for. And really, top people are using StreamYard. It's not like a
Hmm.
basic platform just for beginners or anything, is it? It's
Yeah, they've
really
really
got.
added a lot of features. Especially they were acquired by Hopin a few years ago. And so one of the features that they actually have now is this webinar feature that I'll be using the
Mm,
StreamYard webinar feature, to
mm,
host my webinar.
yeah.
And the cool thing about doing a webinar through StreamYard is that then you can have people register, kind of like if you do it through Zoom or another platform that has registration, and then you collect email addresses. And that's one of the advantages to hosting a webinar,
Mm,
um, to help, to help promote something, or to help,
yeah.
get people into your program, provide education. Uh, yeah. So
Yeah, I think that's brilliant, and you're adding it as a sort of live event, as it were, in a sort of different way. It's not necessarily got to be focused on a selling thing, has it? It's bringing the community
no.
together in a different, for a sort of special event type of thing. So I think that's
Yeah.
brilliant, and it makes it easy, doesn't it? Starting a webinar and linking everything up with everything else and getting Zapier and everything. It can sound like a
Yeah. No, it's
complete nightmare.
great.
Mm,
It's great, especially because it uses the StreamYard platform, which if you already use StreamYard, you really won't have that much of a learning curve to set up a webinar.
mm, yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So Tyus just asked, have you tried Squadcast through Descript? I've never tried Squadcast actually myself. Descript I do, and I didn't know that you could use Squadcast straight to Descript. I use Ecamm straight to Descript. Um, and yeah, Squadcast, there is other ones, aren't there? Riverside FM and those sort of things. I don't. Can you go live with Squadcast, Tara? If you're asking that, I suspect you can, because I didn't realise that you can. I just thought it was like a podcasting recording app, like Riverside, or what's the other one? Crowd. Can't remember.
Crowdcast, is that it?
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What do you
Yeah.
think, Tim? Any thoughts?
Um, I mean, I haven't used Squadcast before, so I'm not too familiar with it.
Mm.
But they all have their benefits. At one point, Riverside, the quality of Riverside's videos was, better than StreamYard. But then StreamYard added local recording, so you could, record the videos right to your desktop. So the quality is a lot better than in the cloud.
Okay. Mm.
So yeah, but I'm not familiar with Squadcast. It's a great question
Mm.
though.
It is a great question. So thanks for that, Tara. Thanks so much for being with us. And she says, good to know. Love that webinar connection. Yeah, I thought that was fab when I saw Tim had done that. So, guys, Tim is going to tell you a little bit about his webinar coming up, if that's all right, Tim. But just before that, we are going to play a little game.
Does it involve chickens?
It could involve chickens, yeah.
Oh.
Why not? So I'm going to ask Tim just a really short lightning round, series of just fun questions. This or that? Do you like this or do you like that? And you can say pass if you don't know. Okay, or you don't want to answer. Okay, so here we go. Okay, let me turn the volume down.
So fancy with the music and all.
Yeah, I got to turn the volume right down though, because otherwise they can't hear it. Right, okay. Do you like shoes or slippers?
Crocs.
Excellent.
Crocs.
Yay. Swimming pool or beach?
Swimming pool or beach?
Yeah.
I'll say beach. I could go either way on that one.
You like either. Cats or dogs?
Neither.
Oh, chickens. Where's the chicken?
Oh, chickens. Chickens, yes. Or pigeons.
If you're listening, that is a rubber pigeon. Summer or winter?
Winter.
Winter. Salt or pepper? That's a bit hard, I think.
Pepper.
Cookies or chips?
Cookies.
Farm or city?
City. Yeah.
Oh, really? You surprised me there.
I could go. It's hard. I like both for different reasons.
Tim does lovely videos next to what's that river called? It's amazing.
The Delaware River.
Oh, it's so beautiful. So yeah, he loves being in nature too, as well as city, which is good to know. Dine in or dine out? Last question.
In.
Dine in. Yeah. I'll probably
No,
go
out. Like take out, right?
Oh, at the last second, he changed his mind. You're allowed to change your mind. That's great. Okay, so Tim, do let us know about this webinar that you've got coming up. When is it? We put the link in the different places, so hopefully you can get that. Let him or I know if you haven't got that. It will be in the podcast comments as well. So yeah,
yes.
Please, Tim, tell us when.
Yes. Thank you, Katie. So the webinar is December 5th at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And it's called How to Create a Consistent Live Stream Show That Makes an Impact. So we'll be talking about some of the things that we talked about here, but we'll also be talking about other things as well. One other tip I have that we will be talking about in the webinar is after your shows, reach out to a few of your guests and just say thank you for tuning in and maybe start a small conversation with them. Nothing salesy weirdo, just, something to get to know each other. So in the live stream, I'll be giving all sorts of tips on how to go about creating a live stream show that makes an impact. And it's both for people who want to start from scratch, or maybe you already have a show and you want to figure out ways to make a further impact or an impact with your show. So I don't want to give too much away, but it's going to be a lot of fun. We already have 15 people signed up from all over the place, including you, Katie.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Brilliant. Yeah, it really will be lovely. So do try and go, and if you can go live with it, watch it live, then do that, because you can tell how engaging he is and the community that he creates is. And what was I going to say, Tim? It's gone out of my mind. What was I going to say?
Was it something about a chicken or a goat or a pigeon?
Now it's really
or live streaming.
Now it's really completely disappeared. Oh dear. Dear. Yeah. Anyway, forgive me for completely forgetting what I was going to say. It's going to be great though. Do come. And oh, it's so frustrating, isn't it, when you have something in your head and then
It's okay.
It was about your webinar and how good it's going to be, and it's just I'll remember as soon as we're off live. It's one thing that live streaming does do to you, actually, and you just have to laugh through it. It does sort of freeze your brain in certain ways. And so it's good if you've got like a chicken or something. I need something, you know, I can make my party noise. Oh, I've turned that down. Hang on. Couldn't hear that. Hang on. Oh, that was right. If something goes wrong, or I can do this. So
I like that.
I've just shown mind blown. So yeah, if stuff goes wrong, you can just have some fun and, like, you know, burst some balloons or have a rubber chicken or whatever. And
definitely,
I'm sure you're going to learn loads. And we've all got special things, unique things that only we can give. And, you know, your own live stream show, you can really lean into them and make a difference. A lot of us want to make a difference in this world. My mum on her grave, she, you know, we had to write, "You have made a difference," because she kept saying to me every single day, "I hope I'm making a difference." And I kept saying, "You really are, you really are." And so it's really in my heart as well. I want to make a difference. And, you know, if you feel like that too, then definitely show up to Tim's webinar, because you can't help but make a difference if you're giving out with a live streaming show and helping others. So hooray for that. Applause for that. It's going to be
Yay.
Okay, thanks so much for being with us, Tim. You're a trooper. Bye to the rubber chicken as well. Hope the rubber chicken has a lovely day. And,
thank you. Katie, I saw there's 2 other questions. I don't know if you want to answer them now.
Oh, is there? So Tar says, how many places are you live streaming to right now? Which software are you using? So Tar, I don't have a brilliant internet connection right now because I've moved studios to the opposite end of the house. Not that we've got a massive house, but still, it's a very old house with thick walls. So I'm wireless to the router, which isn't brilliant when you're live streaming, and I'm glad that it's still working. So I am on LinkedIn and where am I? Facebook.
You on Facebook?
Yeah, I'm not in my group on Facebook. I'm on my profile and my page, and I believe that I'm on YouTube as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm live on YouTube as well. So, and I am using Ecamm. So Tar wants to know, do you have any StreamYard deals or coupon codes, Tim?
Yeah, I have an affiliate link I could send her.
Yeah, do. So Tar, connect with Tim if you're not connected already. And yeah, thanks so much for being with us. It's lovely to see you, and whoever else is watching as well, because we've got a few people watching, which is lovely to see you. Thank you so much for watching. And we are going to dance our way out now, guys. So take care. If you've got more comments or questions, just put them and we'll see them. Okay? Take care, guys.